Hello, Internet. Hi. Hello, world.
Daisy's saying hello too.
Daisy is saying hello. She, like the most prima donna of Hollywood actresses, she is tarting about. Daisy, get it in the bed. I bought you a bloody camera. No, don't get up there. Never work with animals, everyone. Never work with animals. Hello, hi. It's me. It's DM Dan. Welcome to the Tavern Between Dimensions. How are we all doing?
Pretty good.
Okay.
Wonderful. For those of you who have just joined us, who aren't on the stream, just jump straight into video and I will sort it. Yes, hi. We are here to have a little bit of a fun. Seriously, Daisy, why? Why there? The cam's up there. We're here to talk about the release of the 1.4 Daggerheart playtest. So it's a bit of a continuation from our little Let's Play that we did. Our little actual play. Are you gonna... No? Daisy, come on. It's the comfiest bed in the house. Yeah.
Yay!
She doesn't know what to do, everyone. Hello, Sheldon. Hi, how you doing? Yes, this is a bit of a kind of a continuation from our little playthrough that we did with Goru, Greg, Ruby, and I tried to say Huck for a second there. Twig. Twig, are you going to settle? Please settle. Please. It was a really expensive camera. It wasn't really, but she gets upset if it's not expensive. Yes, we since we finished playing, there have in fact been. This is the second update, right? The team over at Darrington Press have been busy, so yeah, we're just gonna have a little look, see what our characters look like, see what changes there are, see how we feel about it, see if we feel like, without the aid of actually testing it, whether it feels better or not. Yeah, that's kind of the plan for today. How are you two and or three when Dan gets on? How you doing?
He's there.
Yeah, not too bad. It's just been rolling along. It's been interesting to see like the new changes that have been made. So,
yeah, because there have been a lot, and I guess I've got the playtest here in front of me, like on the Demi playing website. So yeah, we'll be looking at the version 1.4 changes primarily, but kind of comparing it to 1. I guess we were playing 1.1, 1.2.
Yeah, we got to 1.2, I think.
2. Yeah, we played the first
episode.
one, and then the last. Then we had one update when we were still playing.
Yeah,
then
that was it.
Because they take all of Dan's
yes
stuff away.
Yes, they did. So yeah, we'll say primarily looking at the 1.4 changes, but then also kind of comparing it to the 1.3. Maybe if there's some really kind of notable changes, kind of going, oh, did we miss? Was that a sad boat to have missed? Yeah. How are you, Livy? Been good?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All good.
How was your collective D&D games last night?
Yeah, good.
I heard cheering.
Or was that screaming?
Might have been screaming.
Screaming, cheering.
Yeah,
we're Nate's doing a campaign for us, so we're playing that at the moment.
This is my first time.
Things were revealed, and it wasn't the things we were expecting to be revealed. So.
I see. Fair. Cool. Well, we will. Where? Oh,
I think
he's here. Hello.
Yeah, you've missed a special here.
You've got a Mr. P.
I've been sat here for a quiet bit of time, just making sure I can make sure I'm heard when talking
Yeah,
to.
you can be heard. That's all good. But yeah,
Sweet.
we uh,
There he is.
there he is. Yeah. How are you, Mr. P? PC Dan.
All good, all good. I wish I'd had a bit more chance to catch myself up on the new playtest corrections, considering how much I've read through the previous ones.
Yeah. Well, we can
But
do it
I've got,
together.
yeah, I think this will be quite good to do it from a more
Yeah.
fresher standpoint this time, especially if are we gonna try leveling up?
Yeah, I think we'll give leveling up a go. I can't imagine it'll be overly complicated, but yeah, we'll kind of do
You
that.
never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Never know.
Yeah, we'll do that as a foursome, and then, well, what do you think should be better? Should we kind of look through the changes first, talk
Yeah, let's
about
look through the changes first,
talk about?
and then
Okay, yeah, we can have a natter about those, see how we feel.
It might inform my decisions as I level up.
I see. You min maxer you. But yes, if anyone who's watching sort of like live right now and or like after the fact on VOD, yeah, by all means, if there are any kind of big changes that you thought were quite substantial, like quite game changing, yeah, let us know in the comments. It'd be interesting to kind of get as many perspectives and eyes on this as we possibly can. So if I seamlessly wha-bam, switch us over. So you lot able to tell you what, because I'm kind. If I start the virtual cam, and hopefully I don't break everything.
The cat cam.
Oh, it's reversed. Okay. It might be worth for you lot. I'm on the Demiplane website. Looking, so like app.demiplane.com/nexus/Daggerheart/sources/playtest/open-beta-playtest, which is really easy to remember website.
Gonna.
But yeah, might be handy to do that so you can kind of see what I'm seeing. But yeah, 1.4. I don't know why, before we go in, but I thought that the new adventure was coming with 1.4. My hopes and dreams
That's what
were...
you said.
Yeah, my hopes and dreams were crushed. And this is a trash tier game.
so has anyone watched the latest talk through about the 1.4 playtest by Critical Role?
No,
I watched it. I watched it.
So they do address that. And they have said that even as they were streaming the talking through the updated content, that they would when they leave the stream, that they were working on the what they called the tier 1 adventure.
Yeah.
So and they reiterated that it's all to do with sky ships and possible, like the adventure in this tier 1 is all to do with a skyship and adventuring on a skyship. So that does sound pretty cool. And I wish it was here sooner because I really want to play it.
Yeah. Yeah, because we were like the concept of skyships coming up is quite exciting. There was a part of me, and I know Livy was certainly excited for this, but was just like, what? Given how off the wall a romp through the forest was, what sort of like narcotics induced fever dream would an airship adventure look like? But yeah, I'm excited for it. Yeah, I mean it's just good. Good to play through anyway. But yes, we've mainly just got we have mainly exactly only got rules changes. So let's start from the top. Universal changes. They've sorted things out. So they've reverted to the previous D6 advantage disadvantage. So from what I remember, because it was you roll like the extra D6, right? Or
no. So yeah, the D6 for advantage disadvantage was rolling an extra D6, and you either add or subtract. Whereas the 1.3 playtest changed it to rolling an extra hope die.
Yeah.
Specifically, and yeah.
So yeah, that's that's interesting. I think. I mean, gut reaction. Chime in if you agree or disagree. I think being like advantage disadvantage is just a D6. Like it's a completely separate die. Everyone knows exactly what it's about. But because there was talk about like wanting the hope die to be more like if you had disadvantage, you were more likely to roll with fear because you were taking the lower hope result. If you were rolling with advantage, you were But I suspect maybe it was just a case. Well, I mean, for better or worse, you just spam advantage to get lots of hope.
Yeah, there was they addressed on the live stream about that point, about where there was in some playtests people were able to use the help action or to spend a hope to give someone advantage to generate more hope, and it was in this constant
Like
loop
a cycle
of generating hope through that method. So there. It's apparently, according to them, a lot of people were like, actually, we really liked the D6 method now that we've looked at this. So
yeah, I think
that's why they reverted back.
It's certainly neater. I've just jumped over to the action rolls page because it says given more guidance on when to do action rolls. So one of the things that I'd brought up was just like perception check hope farming. Or like, I want to remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. Can I roll a history check? But what did they say? Says make an action roll. If you make a move where the outcome is in question, maybe it's just and the success or failure of that move is interesting to the story. I don't know if that was there before, but I imagine that's the ticket for the GM to look at you and then throw something heavy in your direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I mean that's obviously the answer. Only roll when it's worth it. Rulings over rules, flavouring your game, clarify text. So ancestries, these got a big change, didn't they? So let's have a little look. So we'll look at your three ancestries, and then we'll look at the goblin for Theo's benefit when he gets a chance to watch. So who we got first? We've got first on the list is Fungrel. So, Nate.
Hello.
Fungrel went on it was a bit of a roller coaster, wasn't it?
Yeah. So first with sort of like the ancestry features. First it was I could just talk to any other Fungrel, not spending anything, not doing anything, just like I want to talk to my mate.
Whole world.
I just want to talk to the whole world. I just want to talk to my mate who's like a million miles away. That would be great, thanks. To then that being completely scrapped to another extreme of saying you can eat the dead and gain like some hit points. To then change it, so now they've kind of limited them. Like they're kind of both still there, but they've limited them. So now the talking to other Fungrel has come back.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to roll. I have to roll something. I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's like an insight or something. Yeah, instinct 12.
So I have to roll an instinct.
Is this still like every? Oh.
Sorry, go on, Livy.
Yeah.
Is it still like every mushroom person in the world, or
You can make an instinct roll 12 to speak to others of your ancestry across any distance using your mycelial array. Yeah.
so you can still talk to like the Duke of Mushrooms whenever you
course.
fancied?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just got to pass the DC 12.
Oh, he's not in.
Yeah. And yeah, like as much as I loved the idea of this cute little mushroom avatar right next to your face, right here, and just being like, ooh, yeah, perhaps like looking at it from a slightly different angle, death connection. While touching a corpse that died recently, you can mark a stress to extract one memory related to a specific emotion or sensation. So it's like a super limited but quite flavorful Speak with Dead.
To the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
I think I like that.
But what makes it interesting is now I've got 2, because I only ever had one. Like in 1.1 and in 1.2, I only had one or the other. And I think this links into mixed ancestry, which we can talk about in a moment.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, so that's what's happened to Fungrel. Next up is the Galappa. So, yeah, Galappa had a little bit of a shift around as well, didn't they?
Yeah, so they still kept their Shell of Protection feature in their ancestry, which is basically adding your proficiency score on top of whatever your armor score is.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm really enjoying the Guardian as a Galappa.
Yeah.
But also they've because all the other ancestries have 2 features now. My second feature is called Slow and Steady.
Yeah.
During combat, you can make an attack roll with advantage by placing an additional token on the action tracker.
See, I really like that from like a rules perspective, from a game perspective. Like I think that's a genuinely meaningful choice. I think that's a really good shout.
Yeah.
Like I really want to hit with whatever I'm doing, but the GM gets another go. Like I think, like especially off the back of us playing Blades, I introduced the heritage, the lineage powers for Blades, because Blades in the Dark is naturally a all human campaign world. But like you've got an ability where it's like you can just automatically succeed on any test you make, but you accrue more heat because effectively you go off like a flashbang, a celestial flashbang. All humans yawn. Exactly, Errol. Exactly.
Who needs humans in this campaign?
Yeah, I think this is just a really good, just really good rules designing, and also there's a lot of stuff I found in Daggerheart that has just made me think, is this a gimmick to sell things, or like are they actually going to use them, like the cards? But this, I would argue, actively uses that initiative tracker, that action token tracker, by like I'm deliberately putting an extra one on, and then I'm gonna be better at what I do.
Yeah,
I think it's really smart.
yeah, I definitely think you can see why that's quite flavorful for a Galappa being and naming it Slow and Steady is like, right, I'm gonna take my time, but I'm making this hit count.
Gonna make it count, yeah.
And from a mechanical standpoint, as you just said, it's adding that extra risk of like, okay, because I want this to really work for this moment in the storyline, I'm giving the GM that extra action point as long as everyone else has agreed on the table that I can take that momentum to make that hit count.
Or not agreed if you fancy getting spicy, yeah.
Well, this is the thing. It's all a collaborative game at the end of the day. A collaborative storytelling game.
Absolutely. Right, next up, Goblin. So obviously we're missing Fear today, unfortunately. But we're gonna look at goblins anyway, because goblins are the best race ever. So they've got Danger Sense. Once per short rest, mark a stress to make an adversary re-roll their attack against you or an ally with a very close range to you, and also they ignore disadvantages on agility rolls. Interesting. The more this playtest goes on, the more I'm liking the idea of stress. Now that they seem to have figured out what stress is for,
how it works. Yeah.
Reese is saying the action track is interesting from multiple perspectives. I think I'm coming around to it. I agree. Obviously, I mean, there's that visual aspect. I'll be honest, Dan, maybe you can fill me in. How do Critical Role do the action tracker, given that they're all about 15 feet away from each other? They just have a really big action tracker bucket. And like Matt Mercer's got one of those like claw grabbing machines.
I think Matt behind his DM screen actually notes it down on himself.
Fair.
So I mean, I think it's been a while. It's been a hot minute, but I think they still have tokens. They all have tokens to try and represent that. But yeah, I think a lot of it is on his side of things. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but those who watch Critical Role, I think Matt Mercer notes it behind the scenes.
That just logically makes sense. Do we, off the top of our heads, remember what Theo had as goblin features in 1.2?
Long ears.
Yeah. A propensity for mass murder via fire. Well, I mean, just looking at this. I mean, making someone re-roll for a stress, and you've got, 6 stress per day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's just good, isn't it? And that's also good for making goblin players who, let's be honest, probably the most ADHD bunch at the table. Like, actually makes you pay attention to see when you might want to do the reroll. And ignore advantage on agility rolls. Sure. I mean, the idea of stacking up your goblin in really super heavy armor and then just launching them across rooftops is quite funny. But cool. Okay, yeah, we'll go on to Ribbit. So for the Greg, these look like the same.
Yeah, no changes.
No changes. So they're still amphibious and they're still long-tongued. Now, you mentioned mixed ancestries earlier. So, I'll be honest, I didn't kind of tweak that this was new, but looking at it more, I realise it is. They've decided how they want to tackle it initially. So you choose 2 heritages.
Yeah, you choose one from each ancestry.
Choose 2
feature. Yeah, because each one's got 2. You can choose one of them from one and one of them from another to combine into your own new mixed ancestry. And even in the live stream, they did mention that it doesn't necessarily have to be like one parent of yours is one parent of yours is another. It could be the case that further up the family tree that it happened in some way or another, and that it's taken a few generations for it to like kick in a certain ability. So like say, I don't know, I think the example they used is a ribbit and a daemon. You could have just a ribbit with horns, like
a horned froggo.
It could be a ribbit cat girl.
Are there any combinations that have proven to be surprising awakenings for anyone here?
think that's what they. I think that's what they want. I think they want to find what is going to like break the game, like what potential ancestry mixing might break the game a bit. And I think that's probably a wise decision on why they've released it a little bit later in the updates.
Sure.
Because they want people to get used to the ancestries, the set ancestries, and then let's do mixing.
Yeah, because I think off the bat, if you started combining ancestries, it would cause a whole lot of chaos.
Yeah.
Really,
Well, take evasion for example. Evasion, if you can work out a way to
the evasion stat, you mean?
Yeah, the evasion stat. There was a lot of contention the fact that previously to this patch, there people found ways to build a character to have like such high evasion that you just basically never get hit. So they become the tank. And now they have tried to address that slightly in this patch by lowering some of the high evasion characters.
Yes,
I think
they redid it for the
but
my
with this,
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But with the lineages, I don't know if any of the lineages lean to evasion features, but
I would imagine the cat people. So I can't remember what they're called. Not Tabaxis.
They are the Qatari.
Qatari.
When you make an agility roll, you can re-roll for a stress. When you make an agility roll you can scratch people. So yeah, no, nothing there. There was a part of me that immediately was just like, how do you, like, lore-wise break it? And I was like, well, clank plus, and then I immediately stopped and was like, no, like, a clank ribbit is just a clockwork frog person.
Cute. Yeah.
So that's interesting. Okay. I mean, for argument's sake, if we looked at like the demon, which is definitely not our tiefling archetype. So when you roll with fear, you can mark 2 stress to make it hope instead. You have advantage on rolls to intimidate a hostile target. Let's combine it with a fawn for argument's sake. Where's it gone? Leap. You can easily leap up to close range to cross gaps or chasms without making an agility roll. Kick. I mean, I think as far as sort of like mixed heritages go, that's a relatively inoffensive way of doing it. And to be honest, I think that's what Wizards are doing with D&D 24, isn't it? They're just saying mix and match, go nuts. So, yeah, okay. Fair. Cool. So that's the changes to our characters. So 3 of you have had updates. Greg is perfect as Greg was.
I was perfect as I was.
So
why change anything?
Why change? In response to the intense teeth gnashing from PC Dan over there, the minor thresholds for damage have been adjusted again. Just that clearly Matt Mercer heard the soft sobbing from Dan in the corner. So yeah, Guardians now have a minor threshold of 3. Warriors and Seraphs have a minor threshold of 2. A minor threshold can be raised as a leveling up option. Okay, sorry. Going back to what we were saying earlier, we've got confirmation that Matt just marks down, which to be fair is what I was doing, and it was just a case of I just had a tally and I just scribbled them out as and when. So
as they go.
Yeah. So are we working on the assumption that if you have a minor, because obviously we initially reasoned, they've got rid of the minor threshold because they've gotten rid of like stress as a hit point substitute. But now what happens if you roll under minor? Do you just not take damage?
Yeah, so if you roll you roll under your minor threshold, then you take no damage.
Nice.
So the whole point in the 1.2 when it first released was the whole thing of if it was in between your minor and 0,
You took a
then
stress.
you take stress.
Yeah.
Which then, if you have too many stress points,
You
goes
start
on to
taking
hit,
damage.
like you start taking hit
Yeah.
points. But they've obviously reduced that now. So, but the I think the problem they've like even they noted in the live stream, guardians especially who are meant to be tanky. There was obviously complaints
getting chipped.
like myself about that minor threshold.
Yeah.
So bumping that up slightly to make them feel more tanky in a sense, even though it's a 3, but because they'll usually have a good armor score, will make it more likely that they'll just be able to go no hit points.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's good. That feels like it's kind of fulfilling the fantasy a little bit. So looking at the classes, so Guardian. Let's stop off at the Guardian first. So modify the background questions, increase the damage threshold, rebalanced evasion, modified unstoppable. Seems like quite a lot. Obviously, we've just kind of covered
Yeah, there
the
was
threshold.
a bunch of things.
So
Yeah,
starting
threshold
evasion
is
is
bumped.
7. What was
Yeah,
it?
evasion's bumped up.
Okay.
So they've given a better evasion. But for example, my character Goru, he wears full plate armor, so he has a -2 to his evasion from 7 down to 5.
So what was it
But at
before?
least I'm sure it was something like 4. I
Because I
You
think
had
from
really
my
realised
bad evasion.
I
It was
remember
yeah.
there
really
was a
bad.
point where I was realizing, oh, I might as well not bother to roll to hit.
Yeah, like even now, I'm still like I know I'm wearing full plate armor and I'm meant to be hit, but I feel like even now, like, at this stage, I'm like, it's gonna be rare that anyone ever somehow rolls under a 5 to hit from an adversary, especially some of the hits you cracked out in that
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
playtest. Like
You know what you need? You need to have a goblin in full plate armor, and then you can jump across the rooftops at the same time.
fair.
Best race. Goblin Master Race.
Yeah, evasion's got bumped. Yeah, various bits there. The unstoppable feature has had some rework.
So, you gain once per long rest. You can become unstoppable. You gain an unstoppable die, which begins as a D4. Place it on the spot to the right. Whenever you
So
deal
yeah,
1 more hit points to an adversary, increase it by 1. When you increase the die and you drop it. Okay, so it's a bit like a Barbarian's Rage.
yeah, kind of, yeah. So in that sort of
Higher
line of
level, is it?
thinking.
Okay, yeah.
So last time you were still given a D4, but you counted down. So you start on the number 4 on your D4, and used to add that. Before they used to add that number to your armor score, whatever the number of the die is at that time, and also the damage that you did in
Okay.
1.3. But they flipped it around the opposite way and saying, actually, it works more thematically that they're building momentum in the storyline, in the combat by doing it from 1 to 4, going up the die, because otherwise there's less tactics involved and more about that the whole sort of like building up momentum, being unstoppable. It makes more sense thematically, and I think a lot of people they actually got that suggestion from the feedback
Yeah.
that they
Yeah,
received.
that does make sense.
But they did change the so now it says increase your current armor score by your proficiency rather than the die number. So obviously level 1 proficiency is 1, so I'm only adding a 1. But my armor score is better now because they've altered all the armors. So now,
Okay, yeah, we'll have a look at that. Okie dokie.
So it still works out all right for Guardians in the end. Anyway.
Sure. Okay, so rebalance evasion, modify unstoppable, modify the background questions. I mean, we will very, very quickly breeze over these because, I mean, there's a part of me that thinks if the background, if these questions have changed, I mean, if you're gonna kind of ask yourself whatever questions you want to ask, really, don't you? So these are just handy prompts. Who in your community did you fail to protect, and why do you think of them? Recently been tasked with protecting something important with the goal of delivering it somewhere dangerous. What was it? Where does it need to go? You consider us an aspect of yourself to be a weakness. I mean, they all seem legit. Okay, and it doesn't seem like the subclasses have changed. At least I haven't said they have. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that they are the same. Stalwart and Vengeance. Increase your damage thresholds. When you take damage, you can mark stress.
They'll,
fine. Yeah.
I think from 1.2 to 1.3, I can't remember exactly, but it used to be, or it might be 1.3 to 1.4, I can't remember, but it was basically, it was increased by 2, if I remember rightly, but now they've bumped it down to increase by 1.
Sure.
Which I think was from the first change. So, and also the idea of taking stress rather than hope is still a thing when it comes to spending stress instead of armor slots as part of Stalwart.
Gotcha. Okay, fair. Rouge is next up on the list of changes. They've rebalanced the evasion score. Livy, what was your evasion score from what you remember? Because now it is 10.
I think it was higher, and I think they've reduced it. Because I think there was a problem with people that you could take on like some different abilities like Nimble, I think, that added an extra like 5 onto your evasion score. You ended up getting to like 23 evasion or something. So I think they've
Okay. Yeah,
so I think they've taken it down to
min-max is gonna min-max.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, I mean everything else looks, I mean basically what I'm reading from this is they took one look at Greg and went, oh, he's too perfect.
He's perfect. Don't need to change anything about the rogues, don't need to change anything about the ribbits. They have changed one thing on the, but that's my Slyborn. No, yes, they changed one thing on my Syndicate, which they've changed. But
okay.
not much.
Was that when you which bit about, because that might have been a 1.3 change, thinking about it.
No, it wasn't this one. They've changed the Syndicate.
Okay.
If you pop down to chapter 6
Hang on,
under community.
Why? Hang on. Hold. Oh god. Oh, what's happening? No, wait. I just want to. Oh, okay. Chapter 6 on where?
on the updates.
On the updates. Okay, hang on. Right. Chapter. Oh, customizing your game.
Yeah, if you go down, it goes cards, and then it goes community. If you scroll down.
Ah.
So then your community have adjusted the following cards. Seaborn's different. Wanderborn's different.
Is this me finding out that the universal changes aren't in fact... Sorry, the change logs aren't in fact comprehensive? Trash game. No one play it. No one bother. That's it. End of stream.
I know
it's
the
still
change
particularly
they've
exciting
done
change.
to Seaborn. I can see the change. And they've actually nerfed it for probably good reason.
Yeah.
Because before, in 1.3, every time you roll fear, you just accumulated a number of tokens that you can put onto as +1s to things, but there was no end to how much you can accumulate. Now they've sort of capped it at your level. So currently at level 1, you can only get 1 token to then spend, and so on as you go up in levels, which again, it probably balances that ability out.
Fair. Let's... I'm just going to have a quick look at Sorcerer. Just to see if we can see anything different, because no, you and I did kind of go through this a bit after after the last stream, just like have a real kind of dive in. But this does all look
Yeah,
relatively
from what
the
I can
same.
tell, the only part of sorcerer that's changed is in the subclass for sorcerer. So I'm elemental
Okay.
origin, but the only thing that's changed in sorcerer is for the primal origin.
Right.
Um, and
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
but I also know that my community has changed as well.
Yeah.
So where in 1.1 a Wonderborn was able to pull any item out of a backpack as many times as I wanted to help with the situation or what was happening. It then changed to something really bizarre, where it changed into where I don't know whether or not it was every day or every session, I can't remember, but every day after a long rest, I could
That was pretty
change myself to a different community
Yeah. Yeah.
at
Yeah.
random.
We
And
had
I was like,
thoughts on that, didn't we?
yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's gone back to the fact that I can pull an item out of my bag again, but I have to spend a hope, and I can
Okay.
only do it once per session. Which again, I think we had a conversation about what we liked and didn't like about using the word session rather
Yeah.
than long rest or so on and so forth.
Yeah. 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 I mean, that is. Yeah. I for the purposes of anyone who wasn't privy to that conversation, my concern is if you have abilities that are limited to per session, that penalizes the groups that can only get together once every few months but play for like 8 hours straight, versus the groups that get together like once a week, twice a week, and play for 2 hours, 3 hours, because then you could say that second group is getting 4 times as much use out of a per session. And then at that point, if you have to start saying, well, let's not call it a session, let's call it like an act, and at that point it's just, well, you've just undone all of the easy comprehensible ideas behind using the word session in the first place. Like the intro adventure was broken up into acts, so even if you said once per act, once per chapter, whatever, that would arguably be better, because then that's a, in inverted commas, like a loose, it gives you a loose idea of like framing your adventure, and yeah.
And totally
just
agreeing
make
with
it
chat.
stress.
Like, believe the hope it would be enough compensation for that rather than a session.
Yeah, that's true. Because I think the more they start leaning in on using hope to achieve out of the ordinary things, I think that, yeah, good shout on the hope.
Yeah, because if you don't know when your next battle is going to be, when you don't know when your next sort of like fight is going to be, you want to keep that hope to use your big spells and stuff like that. So I'm not going to then suddenly start pulling out like 6 Q-tips from my bag because the ogre needs his ears cleaned or something like that. I mean, don't put it past them. They'll probably put something like that in the game.
Okay. Right. So this is more. I assume this is a bit more like GM stuff in Chapter 2, playing an adventure, but added end of scene guidance. Now I'll be interested to see, because the end of scenes for that intro adventure were just a bit off the wall, weren't they? Sometimes certain effects, bonuses, or conditions say they last until the end of the scene. At the GM's discretion, the scene generally continues until the current narrative situation is played out. So, I mean, okay, here's the thing. Like, going back to what we were saying about session, like, they've got this kind of formless, adaptable frame of time in the use of a scene. Like, even just saying ability can be used once per scene, once per, like, whatever, so the groundwork's there, but otherwise, if there's uncertainty about when it's considered, throw it to the table, see what may make things so. I I'd be interested to see if there's more of this sort of like non-mechanics crunchy game advice for the GMs. Like, because this is good. Like, I know a lot of people, for example, who play 5th Ed. Like, you can approach the PHB like a scientific textbook. It's like, I know all of the mechanics and all of this and all of that. But, like, sometimes the DM... So, someone said... I read somewhere... To be fair, it might have been Reddit. But it was just like... The Dungeon Master Guides teaches DMs to do absolutely everything except how to play a game of D&D. Right. So, yeah, stuff like this I think is really good. I believe they use a similar once per scene metric in their other game, Candela or Obscura. Okay, cool. That's... Yeah, I mean, I think that's just fine. It, like, we... Certainly here on the channel, we realised real quick in the Cormier campaign that, like, long rests, which are a core staple of D&D, just don't usually work. You end up with what used to happen in 3rd edition, what happens in every single person's Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough, where you had, like, 10-minute days, 10-minute work days. But yeah, so just kind of stripping away those limitations on a clock basis, on a physical, you know, tangential time thing, and just making it more ephemeral. Yeah, fine, lush. Right, I'll get off my soapbox. Let's go back to these updates. Gold. Wait.
Always believe in your soul.
Hang on, was I reading the wrong update? I think I might have been.
No, you're in the right area.
I was in the right area. Okay, fine. So gold coins are now an optional rule. Handfuls, bags, chests. Sure. Oh, optional
Yeah,
rule,
so-
gold coins. You can use.
Yeah, so the idea behind it was that obviously some people did not like the fact that they couldn't just toss a coin to someone when they wanted to. So they kind of made it an optional thing to be like, for those who still kind of want a reason to use coins, they can. But the idea is that they don't want people bogged down on trying to take down their every single currency and coinage. But it's more like, oh, but if you want to buy a weapon or something, that's when it becomes more like, okay, how many handfuls is it, or bags or chests or whatever. That, yeah.
Wealth in D&D or tabletop RPGs in general are my biggest bugbear, my biggest pet peeve. Just like granular wealth tracking needs to accidentally trip off a cliff. Like, I just there is a reason why people pay other people to be accountants. And like, ever since, and also, sorry, I'm gonna get back on my soapbox. Like, them saying we're going to count wealth in handfuls, bags and chests. Great. Absolutely great. Doesn't actually... The whole... What you mentioned there, oh, I'm going to flick a coin to my Witcher. Go nuts. Go absolutely nuts. Whereas, like, in D&D, how many times have you flicked a coin to your Witcher and then been like, oh... I really wish last session I hadn't flicked that coin, because that's really impacted my character development and progression and story. Like, when does that ever... Right? You just do it, you just do it as a favour. It's a fluff thing. In Blades in the Dark, they just have coin. How much coin? We got 4 coin from this mission. That's a lot.
That's a big coin.
That's a bit, yeah.
That big.
Like, if I'm going to carry 1 coin, and coin is capitalized, and it just means, like, an amount of money, and it's enough money that it's noticeable on your person. That's 1 coin. And then like, oh, are you robbing a bank? You're going to do a heist and run away with 8 coin. Great, fine. And like, do you want to buy a drink? How many times?
We're a bunch of drunkards in.
You really are. You really are.
We're always in the pub.
It's absolutely fine. Honesty's on the table here. How many times have we, as D&D players or tabletop RPG players, done a tavern scene and the DM's gone, so you're getting a round of drinks? What's everyone having a drink? And you go, I'm going to have this, I'm going to have this. And then the DM looks at the whatever notes they've got and then has to say, yeah, that'll be 8 copper each. And now the players are looking at their character sheets with only gold written on it and going, what? Like, now I've got to scratch 1 gold off, and I've got to, oh no, so that's like 9 silver, and it's 2 copper. Like, who wants change in D&D? Who wants
change in real life?
Right? There is nothing worse than having a wallet with change in it. Like, you know, it's just... okay. Yeah. I think, to be honest, maybe just delete this optional rule. No one wants to track gold more granularly.
Yeah, I actually, like, the more I thought about this this way of approaching money, the more I liked it, because like what you just said there about Blazing Dark using coins, I can get the symbolic nature of that, but the visual aspect of that, like at least in Daggerheart, you're looking at it as in handfuls or as in bags or chests, and that feels a bit more representative of what that character actually has, in my mind.
Yeah.
Yet you're not getting bogged down on counting coin for coin what it is. Like, some people do enjoy that, and you know, I think that should be an option for those people who do enjoy it, but for a majority of us who really don't want to get bogged down on it and to just speed things along and be like, okay, well, there's this really nice weapon I want, and that's going to be, I don't know, 5 handfuls, whatever it is it costs in this game. That seems a bit more quicker to achieve than, and then you're not getting bogged down of, oh, I need to go on this cart, but it's going to be 8 gold coins. But
yeah, 100%.
You could just say, oh, we pass them the coinage for the transport, and that doesn't affect us having to note down on our character sheets what we've just provided in such a small quantity.
Just in the chat, so Ree says in the game, Reese runs, they exclusively use golden items. That is, I mean, that's fair. Like, I'm not saying don't use golden items. I just feel like after a busy, work-filled, stressful day, we could do better than nickel and diming gold, copper, and silver in D&D, especially if you try to start making it seem sensical. When you're like, oh, does this peasant, like, I'm gonna give this peasant a gold coin, right? That's like a month's worth of wages, and then you go, oh, but like a longsword is 25 gold. What's happening? Oh no, like, just yeah.
I another point to add I just thought of is there's that whole other aspect of if people really deal with encumbrance and the weight of gold, that, like, no one wants to play with that. But think of it this way, right? In D&D, you just build up an amount of gold coins or whatever coins, but there's going to be a point when your character sheet, when you're higher level, unless you have a bag of holding or something that can carry all this coinage, even if you're not doing encumbrance, you're a bit like, but how much?
When we collectively played while Beyond the Witchlight, and I was playing Sprock, the Goblin Artificer, Goblin Master Race, I specifically had a backpack of holding, so I didn't have to care about encumbrance.
Well,
like,
this is the thing.
We wouldn't care about it anyway, but I was mechanically making sure we wouldn't have to care about it.
what I like about Daggerheart is because you can visually see handfuls and chests, and you can actually visualize. Okay, well, I've got a chest here, but can I really carry a chest around with me everywhere? We need somewhere to put a chest. You know that visually, that makes more sense to as a player being like, okay, I've got quite a few bags on my person, but I probably could manage. Oh no, I've got a chest on me. That's not feasible to carry around. I might need somewhere to store
I mean,
that.
it literally says here, if you ever have more than one chest, you'll need to store some of your gold elsewhere before you can take more. Like, they're just straight up saying, stop being greedy.
Yeah.
Like, part of the...
Just
like,
think about it, you know, like I'm playing Baldur's Gate and I'm just like wandering around with 400,000
right?
gold pieces.
So
and it's just like, oh, just
I've realised we've gone, like, I say I've gone on a massive tangent. I've really gone down this rabbit hole. But yeah, just I'll cap it off by saying, like, Dan, you'll know where I'm coming from. We play Dragon Heist. Spoilers for Dragon Heist, but the Dragon Heist is in fact referring to coins of dragons, which are coins in Waterdeep. And when you find the hoard, it's like hundreds of thousands of gold, right? And like the question that you're posed with is, how are you getting it out of here? Because you can't just like walk up to it, World of Warcraft style, right click, loot all, like, you and it just disappears, and like a number pops up out your head. It's just like that. This is a lot of metal, and how are you moving the metal, which is like famously quite heavy? Like what? So yeah, I'm also liking this. Also, flip side, like later, like higher level D&D play, you start getting so much wealth, it just becomes meaningless.
Yeah.
At that point, yeah, fine, cool. I'm actually putting the soapbox away now.
Until next time. Until 10 minutes.
Until the next.
Until
the next line.
cards. So what's changed about the domain cards? I didn't actually read before I clicked. Scroll. Oh, they've moved it. Okay, fine. Downtime. Clarify that you can use the same downtime move twice during a rest. I didn't realise that. Maybe it was just weird wording. Soapbox. Number of days since last soapbox incident, 0. Action tracker clarified. What counts as an action? Okay, interesting. This is a thing. I don't know if they're going to really deal with it, but we have had discussions about people not wanting to take goes because they would feel like it would be detrimental to their group to get involved in the game, which in itself is a bit of a problem. But limited.
I agree.
Yes. Here we are. What counts as an action? You only place a token on the action tracker when you're either making an action roll or using another move that tells you to use an action. For example, unless your consumable says to use an action, you can use it without a token. Oh, okay. I suppose that's fine. Does it? There hasn't really been... Okay, they do have an initiative. How would they do initiative? With initiative tracker, action tracker... Okay, hang on. I didn't see this before. Turn-based initiative. If your group prefers tactical play or structured player turns, you can limit the number of action tokens each player can use on the action tracker at one time. This is recommended to start at 3, but you may increase or decrease it. When the action tracker is in use, every player places that number of action tokens on their character sheet ready for use. Okay, so let's say we said 3. Players then act as usual, and each time they make an action roll, they spend 1 available action token by moving it to the table's action tracker. Collaborate with other players on passing play around the table, making moves and telling the story together. Oh, okay, so it's literally like everyone has to have 3 goes before someone can have their 4th.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not D&D initiative, which is what I thought it'd be. I guess that's kind of what, like when we were playing, there just came a point where I would look at, so like when you were defending against those ghosts, there just came points where I was just like, no, Dan, you have to go. You have to take a turn.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. It's a lot of this kind of bitty updates. I mean, the class stuff was a really gritty stuff, wasn't it? Action fight, leveling up. Okay, so as a heads up, we're going to we'll be taking a break soon, and then when we come back, we'll be leveling up the characters. Unarmored. Clarify rules for unarmored characters. They're squishy, yo. Going unarmored does not give you any bonuses or penalties, but while unarmored, you don't have access to armor slots.
Oh, okay.
Was there an argument that, like, my raw pecs would allow me to reduce damage
my raw chiseled breast?
Unless you have a way to increase your arm score, like the bare bones. If you choose... Oh, no, there is actually. There is actually. I block your axe with my chiseled jaw. Okay, great. Okay, close that. Leather. Rebalance. Okay, so this is what you mentioned earlier, Dan. Rebalanced all armor, reorganized and squashed bugs in weapons and armor. Significant individual changes include. So Gambison is like super light. Leather is now tougher. I feel like
that's good because both me and Theo, when we were creating our characters, we were told that the best, like the suggested option for us while we were creating them was breastplate armor. But we were like,
me too.
We were like, we're little weird woodland creatures. Like, why would we be wearing breastplate armor? So
Yes.
having that now changed to leather armor makes so much more sense.
Yes.
Yeah, they've basically said that that Gambian armor is the leather armor now, like in sense of scores, because they wanted, when they were altering, making like full plate armor better and making Gambian armor the lightest armor you can be, which is basically just like that quilted, padded cloth material.
Headboard armor.
Yes.
Because it's what you get on headboards on beds. Okay, so blade brutal feature corrected on weapons. I suspect maybe that was just I assume that was just a typo. Bladed whip quick correction.
It won't just whack off someone's head instantly.
Yes. Yeah. Someone mistyped and actually had it as a D80 +3. Legendary returning blade. Okay, I mean that's super high level. Primary short sword changed to broadsword. Okay. It's just changing names. Round shield and tower shield. You can donk people with the shield.
Do a donk.
Amazing. Recategorize. Okay. I'm just going to... Oh, lordy, that's a lot of NPC change. I'm just going to assume that a lot of it is all just by the by. Like, it's all relative. Like, there's no world changing
That's all
stuff
just
here.
rebalancing stuff, isn't it?
Fine. Right. So, in that case, I reckon we have a quick break. Let's call it. I'm going to be back in 5 minutes' time, and I'll just jump back on, and you lot can come back as and when. Then we'll start leveling up your characters. And then, see where we go from there.
Yeah. While we're away,
Yes.
chat can decide on what the corrected. One of the things is a corrected typo in Gem of Insight. Chat have to decide what the typo was for the Gem of Insight.
Hang on, let me.
Phlegm. Phlegm of insight.
Phlegm of Insight. I thought
Okay.
you said pleb.
Yes.
Phlegm
Yes.
of Insight.
What was the typo that was corrected? Wrong answers only. That's... Okay, bro. Tell you what. Well, no, I'll have to take us to a break screen. Right, cool. I'll be back in a few minutes, and you lot see you back in a bit.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Hello. So, Nate, we've had Jim's insight. My offering is Gem of Ensuite. Oh, you're very quiet. Are you muted?
I am muted. Yes. Yeah, Gem of Ensuite would actually be pretty good, I think.
Okay. Is
What
there?
was the other one?
So
Jim's Insight. Or maybe Jim of Insight. So instead of a gem, it's just some guy called Jim.
This old man, a proper Jim.
Yeah, proper. Oh, right, proper Jim.
Right, proper Jim.
Or perhaps a gym of insight where instead of lifting massive weights, you just really kind of get in touch with, like, get a really introspective look on yourself, and
Or you
just
actually
sort
go into this gym, and there's just like loads of beefcakes that are just having like proper insightful conversations with one another.
jest of insight. Is a jest of insight something that everyone titters about and then kind of stops and goes, actually, you know what?
Actually, no.
I think he's onto something, you know?
Or maybe someone says something like very highly insightful, and then they just go, only joking, only joking.
The joust of insight. I was thinking gem of infight. Just really kind of lowers morale by instilling arguments between party members.
I thought you said a gem of invite, so it would just be like, "Do I come to my birthday party?" And you give me a gem.
Did he come out to play?
Yeah. Can Jim come out to play? Can Jim of Insight come out to play?
No, he can't. He's down the gym of insight, actually. Okay.
Oh, big Jim.
How best? So you lot have got your characters on Demiplane, right?
Yeah. We might be able to. I mean, we can share our characters.
Okay.
Mine's top secret.
Because. But I don't think you'd be able to see like what we did in the background. You wouldn't be able to.
No, but if I can be looking at the character sheets, what does the share feature look like?
Basically, it's just a copy link. So
Okay.
I can share with anyone who has the link, and then I can copy link and send it to you.
Yeah, if you could copy me the link, and then I'll have it on screen for us to look at while we're leveling up.
How do?
So if you go into, if you click on your little profile picture,
Where?
and then where you click on it, it will come up with your character. It's got character builder. At the bottom, it's got character sharing. In the viewing permissions, you want to change that to view anyone with a link, and then you can copy the link and put it in the Discord chat.
I'm glad you know what you're looking at, because I can't figure it. I can't find that.
So my one's going to look a little bit different because it's the automatic stuff that I haven't added for level 2. It's already added to my sheet.
Okay.
So there's just like a couple of bits that I need to add in level 2.
Inconceivable. Hello, PG
Wait,
Dan. Welcome.
Characters.
We're
I'm
going
off mute
to
now. Sweet.
yes. We're going to share me the links to your character sheets, so we can have a quick little gander at the characters at level 2, or like as we'll level them up together. I don't know if I'll update.
Yeah, because I haven't leveled mine in any way yet.
Perfect. Well, we can discover together how that goes.
Where do you want the link?
Just WhatsApp me, I guess.
I put it in the Discord chat.
Or Discord, yeah.
I'll do Discord because obviously I don't have WhatsApp on my desktop.
Fine.
Um,
Right, so we've got.
is it just the URL you're after? From the.
So if you click on your profile if you click on your little character face in your character sheet, in there it will have sharing options at the bottom of it.
Oh, character sharing, copy link.
Yeah, and it should have a viewing drop down as well. So view only for me, and then view with anyone who's got the link.
Amazing. I'm gonna copy. Brilliant, thank you.
No, I've just noticed Ruby's one of Ruby's experiences is sweet flips.
Yeah, sweet flips. She works in the circus, so she does sweet flips, and it's +2.
Sweet flips.
Where's the?
To be fair, I mean, so Risa said this is reminding him of explaining D&D Beyond to a group of new players. Absolute spot. I would argue that observation was so spot on. You were equipped with the gem of insight. Okay, so we've got 1, we've got 2, and just yours to go, Livy.
Oh, I know. I sent it on your Discord.
Oh, did you?
Where am I putting it?
Do you know which chat you put it in?
Oh, you've done it there. Okay, yeah, I've got it. Cool.
It was a direct message. I'm not letting any of the rest of you look at it.
Okay, lush. So we will. Okay, so who hasn't leveled up? So Livy and Dan, neither of you have leveled up. So what we'll do? Let's look at watch a bam. Okay, the perfection that is Greg. Okay, so
Where do I go? Level up. Level 2.
I'm on a read only. Okay, so you're gonna have to talk me through it.
Well, I just have to. I guess I just go down the list of create experience.
Leveling up. Okay, so hang on. Let me switch to the leveling up thing. Okay, so
So basically, you add a new.
It just dawned on me that there is no XP baked into the rules.
No.
Yeah, I wonder whether or not they've just chucked that.
Yeah, I mean, I think relatively few. Well, I would argue that relatively few groups, certainly by comparison, probably. Well, I don't know. That's quite a bold statement I'm about to make without having any evidence to back up with. I know that we've tossed in actual XP leveling in lieu of milestone leveling because I think it just feels better. That said, Dan, I suppose you only caught the sort of the final third of it, but once upon a time, myself, Dan, Julia, Jake, who was on the Baldur's Gate 3 playthroughs, Anton, when we played Prince of the Apocalypse, we went to level 15 via XP. Hard ground XP. And I think that was I think Jake came into his element most in that campaign because he is a murder hobo. I just remember there being one encounter that's supposed to be a very, very delicate social encounter. It's like a hostage situation sort of thing. Like a mutually assured destruction meets hostage situation thing. And it ended up with Jake's character, who was like this Dentarim, lawful, maybe evil, definitely ranger, like lifting these these like innocent halflings out of a little hole in a force field and like shouting to the gathered baddies, "Do you want this one? No. Do you want this one? No." And then just everyone died anyway. So, sorry, yeah, leveling up. Oh, bye Daisy. So you begin level 1. When the party levels up, each player will follow the steps. Okay, so at level 2, everyone earns an additional experience and adds it to their character sheet.
More sweet flips.
More sweet flips. Okay, so what is your so Livy, Greg's experiences are there's always a way in and silver tongued. So you chose those at level, like you got those at level 1, right?
Yep.
Okay. And I assume one of them you have a +2 and the other you use a +1.
+1, yep.
Okay. So what also gone?
Like, are we creating these experiences like from the game?
I think that works
Or-
nicely with
Rather than just being like, oh, now I suddenly know how to do lockpicking. Really good. I suddenly have incredibly bulbous eyes. Like, or is it like been informed from our experiences? You know.
That's a good shout. For help with experiences, see step 7. So what does step 7 tell us?
Because it'd be weird for just
Yeah, I think that works a lot nicer. That it's like an experience you've gained through the story, rather than just I've just remembered that once upon a time when I was 3, I learned how to paint cool cars.
Yeah,
And that's my experience.
Yeah, we kind of had a situation like that with Sprock in the Witchlight campaign, didn't we? Where it's like Sprock got a magic item that made him proficient with every artisan tool. And then the very next plan that we had as a group involving Sprock was to paint what was effectively the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
So, you start with 2 experiences and you earn more throughout your adventure. Before choosing, you want to have a solid idea of who your character is. The backstory questions are helpful with this. When you're ready, work with your GM to pick 2 experiences that have shaped your character. There's no set list of experiences to choose from. Instead, choose a word or phrase that embodies something distinctive about your character. Each experience should be specific. You are also encouraged to add flavour to your experience just to give it more varied use in play. For example, instead of just assassin, you could choose something like Assassin of the Sapphire Syndicate. This kind of detail gives your... I mean... Yeah, there's a part of me that would be like... all experiences from level 2 onwards should be... like, so it's got characteristics, specialities, skills. And I feel like they would have to be those rather than backgrounds. But I suppose actually in the course of play, you might gain a new profession. Like, oh, so-and-so's become Lord of a Keep. Yeah, no, I think you definitely would want an experience that reflects what you've been doing. I suppose the potential problem is that like everyone would be kind of looking at each other thinking, do we all have to pick the same experience? Like,
no, not necessarily. I guess it may be worth just having a chat with everyone and saying like, hey, I'm looking to put this as my new experience.
Yeah.
And making sure that, I would say even making sure that not everyone is putting it as the same.
Yeah. So, okay, well, what are you thinking, Livy?
Gems in shoes. Every time I see shoes, I put little gemstones in them.
and I get a +1 to it.
I mean, what has Greg learnt from his experience?
The power of friendship.
Yeah, has he? Has he though?
Fire is cool. Fire
Yeah,
does
he's
cool
excited by fire. Fire's
Pyromaniac.
great. Pyromaniac. That should be Theo's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Theo, murderer.
Murder. Experience murder. Did a murder.
I'm very good at murder. So yeah, I think this is surprisingly hard.
I mean, I found it hard when we were first asked to do it because the possibilities are endless.
Endless. Yeah, I mean, you can get like flavorful things in your character, but if you're trying to like put it to what happened in the last.
I've already got a good idea for mine anyway.
Is it
but it's fine.
the recommendation from chat Unaliver?
Unaliver.
Well, okay. Tell you what. Well, let's quickly jump across to Goru.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got I'll Have Your Back and One with Nature. What was your new experience?
I was planning to stay simple and actually pick, because I didn't know how to word it, but they've already worded what I wanted to choose already in the examples. So
Okay.
under skills like barter, repair, tracking, quick hands, incredible strength, and my character has been showing some incredible feats of strength. Don't you think? Lifting that cart, for example. I always intended to lean into him being a strong boy. So yeah, I was thinking keeping it simple, give him a little bonus to his strength rolls. So yeah, I'm planning to take incredible strength as my experience.
Not Arm Wrestle Champion 2024.
I mean, that comes under incredible strength, so.
Hello. I think Daisy agrees. What did Ruby go for? An unnamed experience.
Yeah,
Eats people.
That's what it's. It's put it as, because I already looked at like what level 2 was requiring me to do, and then I just went back to the character sheet. I was saying it says save changes, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to save changes. I'm just going to go back. But then it just automatically saved the changes. So that's why there's unnamed experience in there, because I haven't put anything in there yet.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, in which case, let's jump back to Greg again. What are you thinking, Liv?
Oh.
I mean, you did spend an amount of time like a Navy SEAL, just like
that's what I was thinking.
The water.
I was thinking some kind of like swampy swamp boy.
Swampy, just swampy.
Smells a bit swampy, looks a bit swampy, is a bit swampy. Terrible athlete's foot.
Swamp lurker. I don't know.
Swamp. Comfortable in water, something like that. Yeah.
Amphibious.
Well, I'm already amphibious, so I am
Double
already
down.
amphibious. Double down. Double amphibious.
I know, just like water lurker.
Water lurker. Yeah. No, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Just say swamp boy.
Swamp boy.
Swampy.
There we go. Enter experience. Swampy boy.
Swampy boy.
Could I use my experience of swampy boy to?
The thing, okay, but hear me out. Like, the thing is, the phrase "swampy boy" is going to arguably infinitely mean more to like a group of players than a D&D feat
Mm.
will. Like, I suppose there is that. So that's fair. That's fair. Okay, Swampy Boy. I don't know if how quickly it'll take. I might have to refresh
To
the page up
update
here.
it.
Okay, so Swampy Boy. Goru's already got strong.
I put
Strong
incredible
boy.
strength.
Wrong boy.
Strong boy.
Strong boy.
We're Reese is suggesting unnamed experience a random time per act. You randomly get a +1. I mean, that was basically the Wonderborn ability, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just today
Randomly
you know
get
how to
something
climb
good.
better, and tomorrow
Yeah.
you don't. So what? Yeah, what are we thinking is Ruby's third experience?
Don't know.
Earlier up in the chat, there was the recommendation of to go alongside sweet flips, sweet rolls.
Sweet rolls.
You just really like eating sweet rolls.
Yeah.
Sweet rolls.
It could be.
I could get my ability back and just say eat the dead.
Eat the dead. It doesn't give you anything, but you just eat the
I
dead.
just enjoy it.
You get a +1 to like the endurance check to
Yeah.
see whether you manage to eat someone or
Eat a
not.
whole body.
Like Kirby, you know, like
Yeah.
a more.
Like a seagull.
No, imagine it more like a juice box. Like you just kind of
Yeah.
all the insides out. Just leave the outside.
Yeah, this is surprisingly hard.
I mean, what did Ruby do last time? Not a lot.
Well,
Aside from sweet flips.
I mean, so what did you all collectively do? So you got ambushed, and then Twig
We met
did
strict
mass murder,
wolf, didn't we?
mass unaliving. Then you got to
The tavern.
the tavern.
We met Brian Blessed. We got gems in our shoes,
Yeah.
and that was it. Really. Ate a pie.
Did eat a pie. I ate a salad.
You ate a salad.
That's cannibalism, basically.
What else could... Well, there was no dead bodies available.
I can hear their screams. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I suppose you did. Was it gone?
I was going to say, probably to just sort of maybe sort of move my character away from how everyone else is. Maybe like she likes sort of being quite whimsical. She likes being like playing around with like the floating sort of seeds that she made sort of float in the air and stuff like that.
Yes.
I'm thinking something like an entertainer. I think she likes to entertain people in a way. So maybe something along those lines.
Arboreal entertainer.
Yeah.
Okay. Flamboyant. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess again, it's that whole thing where they're recommending you put a little bit of spin on it, but nature, like even if you put like nature's entertainer.
Yeah.
Cool party tricks.
Yeah.
Cool party tricks.
Cool
Okay.
party tricks. Let's go with that.
Okay. So that's that. They also increase their proficiency by +1.
Yes.
So you're now.
And our damage threshold increases.
Yeah.
Severe by
Sorry.
2.
Yeah, severe by +2. Yeah. Before proficiency, then it's proficiency +1.
Okay.
Then it's
so
leveling up options.
next, players have a set list of options for upgrading their characters. This can be found on their character guide or in the class section of this book. Can I see that here? Probably not. Where is this going to open?
So does it not do it automatically? Do I have to go into my character sheet and change my damage threshold?
I think if you save your changes and then Dan refreshes his screen, he might be able to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make sure when you do the level up, change that. If you're on your character builder, and you
Mhm.
click on the level up section, change that white bar in the middle box to 2, so
Yeah,
it's level
yeah,
2, and then
yeah,
it will
got it.
let you do all the options,
Okay.
and then I think save changes. But I'm still trying to decide my leveling
Stop
up
showing your
options.
desktop, Dan.
I'm desperately trying not to. Campaign maps? No. Oh, I don't have it in the GM thing. I don't think I bother downloading the player one. Oh no. Hang on. Hold. Hold. Player materials. Player materials. Okay, this is old, but I can't imagine it would have changed all that much. Okay, so let's look at Sorcerer first. Sorcerer. Because I imagine these update. Is it? Yes. Thank you. You're running the stream better than I am. Like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah.
For more leveling up fun like this.
Like, comment, and subscribe if Dan can figure out where this leveling up guide is. Oh, okay.
So,
I found it for Sorcerer. So I guess this might be the same for everyone. So what I'm looking at is your options for level 2 to 4. Increase 2 unmarked character traits by +1. Permanently add 1 hit point slot. Permanently add 1 stress slot. Increase 2 experiences by 1.
Yep.
Increase your proficiency by 1. Permanently add 1 armor slot or +1 evasion.
You can't do proficiency anymore because you already automatically
You get that
an impression.
automatically. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I'm looking at the 1.2 to be fair. Okay, I mean, it sounds like these are the same for everyone.
Yeah, you just
I
pick 2.
like it. I like as well that you just get proficiency automatically rather than having to use one of your precious options to choose proficiency, because it just feels. I mean, it is a buff rather than in terms of character creation, but in my eyes, it feels better like you just getting your proficiency at certain stages as you level up anyway, and then having your other options that's listed here to choose from.
Okay, so which and you choose one of these options, don't you? So
2.
which option are you choosing, or did you choose, Nate?
let me go back to my character builder. So, the reason why I went back into my character to just look was because I wanted to see what would be, whether or not it'd be worth me increasing my major threshold or my severe threshold. I kind of believe that there's no point in me increasing my minor threshold because it just goes from 1 to a 2. So it sort of seems like a little bit like nothing really.
Yeah.
So I was either going to increase my major threshold or my severe threshold to probably just give me a little bit more wiggle room with those. So I might actually increase my major threshold, so it bumps up from a 6 to a 7.
Yeah, that's an interesting shout, because so there's a part of me that was asking myself the same question as you were saying, talking it out loud, and I was thinking I would bump the severe.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's just from me knowing how much damage the skeletons I threw at you and those wraiths, and it's just like I don't feel like they ever did 14 plus damage regularly. And where you've got 6 health total, that's the difference between taking 2 hits or taking 3 hits.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me that was thinking, if you cap off, you're absolutely right. I mean, bumping up minor just seems utterly pointless in the grand scheme of things. But I think you're more likely to benefit from bumping severe. But it's interesting. I also see your argument for taking up the major.
Actually, yeah, I think I might actually go with the severe instead. So I'm gonna select severe, so I go up 1 in severe.
Yeah. Because I'm just thinking
And-
off the top of my head, I think the skeletons, I think they were like D8 plus 3 damage.
Right.
So, like, they could regularly get through to major damage. But
Yeah.
well, I mean, they couldn't get to severe, but yeah, it's a similar idea. But again, also, like, that might be my innate min-maxer talking.
And for my second one, I think I'm going to bump up my evasion.
All right.
Because it's currently at 9. It would be nicer if it was at 10. So yeah, I think I'm gonna bump up that. So that's my 2.
Out of curiosity, what is Greg's evasion? 11. See, because that's interesting, because you taking that up to a 10, like, my attack rolls were D20 plus. But that is a direct equivalent of no armor in D&D. Like AC 10 versus, and like no one, or very few people, I would wager, would go into a D&D campaign going, armor 10's fine. So yeah, that's an interesting thing that, like, we start on 9, but then even Greg is at 11.
Yeah, I think we're pretty squishy when we first
It used
start.
to be like 14.
Oh, okay, that doesn't make more sense. Okay, fair.
But they took it away.
Took it away. What are Greg's 2 upgrades?
I'm going to increase my invasion.
Yep.
Again.
So it's going to go to 12.
And I'm going to add an extra stress point. Because a lot of my rogue skills uses stress. So if I can have an extra stress point, I can do more hiding and more slapping people around the face with my tongue.
Very good. And Goru?
Yeah, this is this is an interesting one. So currently, I've picked my first one was actually to increase my minor threshold by 2, because the amount of times I'm spending armor or stress to reduce myself down to hopefully nothing.
Yeah.
If I increase mine by 2 now, I think that takes me to a minor 5,
Yeah.
I think, something like that. And that's great, because if I'm reducing my damage by every time I spend an armor thing, like a rough, I think it's 9 points, it's more achievable to get myself down to a 5 or below, and to take no damage to make me survive longer.
Yeah.
Now it's my second one that I'm a little bit torn about because part of me is thinking, do I give myself another armor slot because I burn through armor very quickly, which is the most likely one I'm taking. My other one I was weighing up was whether to increase 2 unmarked character traits by 1. But I think at this level 2, it's not going to be it won't impede me so much having not that at this level, I think.
So just to double check,
level 2.
When you say
So
character traits, are they?
So that's agility, strength, finesse, instinct, presence, knowledge. So I could bump that, like, my strength and agility up at this stage, which would then in turn affect my sword swing, I think. My ability to use my sword, or damage, whatever. But those armor slots burn quite quickly, and I also tend to use. I will end up having to use stress at points if I don't have the armor slots. So part of me is like, well, rather than trying to compensate for a bit of damage, do I want to bulk up my armor slots? Yeah, so it's I'm thinking at level 2, I'm not going to be losing out too much not having a +1 in my abilities until next level. It's my line of thinking.
Yeah.
Whereas, but
You might as
considering
well
how,
just lean fully into tank.
yeah,
And
Mm.
yeah,
I could next level I can pick that up or whatever. But I
Yeah.
think right now, because it's either going to be taking up 1 stress or 1 armor slot, and I think armor slot.
Yeah. Okay.
Or do I want to take 1 stress?
I reckon armor slot.
Yeah, I'll take an armor slot. That's going to be my second.
Cool.
Decided.
Bish bash bosh.
Nice.
Okay, Scott. Raising damage thresholds. After choosing advancements, players then rate their damage thresholds as designated by the tier. The amount varies depending on the PC's class and can be found in the player guide, the character guide. So, what have your 3 thresholds gone up by?
So well,
1.
my severe is gone to an extra +2.
So's mine.
I'm assuming it's severe for everyone, but it just
Yeah,
depends
so's mine.
what class you are.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've refreshed yours and I can see yours is now 21. So, Dan, presumably your thresholds now are 7, 10, 21.
It's 7.
Your
I think I was.
was your minor at
I-
5 originally?
I think my minor was 3. Wait, I can't remember now. Hold on, let me. Can I save changes and not choose my cards yet?
Yeah, you can just save
Yeah,
changes
We can
without.
save
Yeah.
changes.
Let me look at my character sheet now that I've got those in place. So currently, with the stuff I've picked, oh sweet, my my minor is
Our fact checker, Reese, our fact checker said it was 5 and it's gone up to 6. Yeah, okay.
yeah. So now I'm on 6 minor, 10 major, and 21 severe.
Yeah, okay. But does that 6 include you bumping up?
Yeah. So 6. My minor includes 3 from Guardian base,
Oh,
1
actually
from
tells you,
being
doesn't it?
stalwart, subclass, because I'm a stalwart guardian. I get +1 anyway, and then I've chosen +2 because of my level up. So now I'm on a minor of 6.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. It's very cool. Cool, and then I can see. So Greg's severe went up by 2, and Ruby's severe went up by 2. Okay, fine. Lush. Taking domain cards. Finally, all players now take a new domain card of their level or lower, increasing their special abilities their character can use. In addition, you may have to choose a white trade. Okay, I'm definitely going to struggle to see this. So, let me. Can I? Game rules.
We can just talk through them. We can describe each of the
Yeah.
cards.
It's not like a massive list. I think that's going to get much more
I've got
difficult when we go up levels.
four new card choices, basically.
Yeah, so have I.
Okay.
I've got 4 new ones.
Well, let's start with you, Livy. You seem most confident.
They're all really cool. So, in my opinion, 1, I might paraphrase this slightly. I don't have to. Spend a hope to summon. So, one of the ones I can choose is called Midnight Spirit, which I spend a hope to summon an arcane spirit the same size as myself that can move and carry things. You can see until your next short rest. You can also spend it to make an attack. You can make a spellcast roll against a target within very far range. On success, they do a d6 damage, basically. So I get to have a little shadow Freg that kind of appears, which I think is cool. He can also carry things, so he can just be my little friend.
Because sorcerers and rogues are kind of in the same.
Well, you got midnight.
midnight, because we've both got Rain of Blades. I can also do Midnight Midnight Spirit. So we
Spirit.
could.
And have you also got?
They could fight.
And they could be friends. Oh, and they could fight.
They could be friends.
Have you also got Shadowbind?
I do also have Shadowbind
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
So the other one is that you can have shadows that pin down enemies and restrain them. So they just.
Yeah. So basically, it's pinning their shadows.
Yeah.
So that they can't move because their shadows are pinned.
Okay. So what you're thinking of going for, Livy?
Well, I've got 2 more. That's not everything.
No, that's not all.
That's not all.
Is it Tell No Lies and Troublemaker?
Yeah, they're the other 2. Troublemaker and Tell No Lies. Which is basically taunt, and one of them is just like you can do a roll to make sure someone can't lie, but they also don't have to speak. So
What?
You just go shh.
I'm having a quick look at the Troublemaker one. When you taunt or provoke a target within far range, make a presence roll. On a success, roll a number of d4s equal to your proficiency. Take the highest value from those d4s and deal that
give them D4 4 stresses.
But then
4 stress someone.
I'm trying to figure out how much stress was tracked as a GM.
What if do skeletons have a lot of stress?
Well, this is basically what
Do they have a stressful life?
Oh man.
Oh, I've got no skin.
It's very stressful.
I can't. Where's GM start here? Yeah, I'm just trying to desperately remember if I was ever advised to really kind of keep on top of stress.
Yeah.
And I don't think I can't remember being told to. I'm very quickly looking. Carry on, Livy. Carry on.
That's all right. I'm not going to pick any of those 2 because
Right.
why would I when I can make a little Shadow Greg to just stand next to me and carry his stuff. So I'm selecting Midnight Spirit. We're having Shadow Greg.
Okay. I think I'd have to actually properly download it again. That's annoying. Okay, so Shadow Greg. What are Ruby's 2 domains?
My 2 domains are Arcana and Midnight. So
Okay. So you've unlocked Cinder Grasp.
Yeah, Cinder Grasp is basically you put someone on fire.
Okay.
We love that.
Something twig.
Yeah, something big. I think because Twig's a wizard, so I think he'll also have Arcana.
I think
so probably leave. Yeah, so I think
so while Theo isn't here, we can do his sheet for him.
Yeah. So my other one for Arcana is Floating Eye.
Yeah.
So I can spend a hope to create a small floating orb that control anywhere within a very far range from you. While controlling it, you can choose to see through its vision as though it is your own. If your orb takes damage or moves out of range, the spell will immediately end. So I think from an RP point of view, that's pretty good. So
is it instead of a floating eye, it's just you just jumping it, like sending your signals into the mycelial, and then just little mushrooms just like looking
Probably
around.
like a little spore cloud or something.
Yeah, it could
like
just
a little rather than an eyeball.
Okay,
I'd like it to be an eyeball, but
so you're thinking floating eye?
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, I can pick level 1 cards as well if I wanted to, but they're very much just like no, right. I can unleash chaos. You can spend tokens from this card to unleash energy against a target.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. You can make a spellcast roll against a target within a far range, and spend any number of tokens to channel raw energy. A success roll a number a d10 equal to the tokens you spent, and do that much magic damage to the target. Make a stress to replenish this card with tokens up to your spellcaster trait. Clear all tokens at the end of the session.
Oh, I would take that every single day and then just. Okay, it's probably a good thing that I'm running it and not playing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Floating Eye. I think that'll be nice for RP wise. So
yeah. Okay, sounds good. Next up, Dan, what are your two thingies?
Blade and Valor.
Blade and Valor. Okay, so you've unlocked a soldier's bond once per short rest if you compliment someone.
Mm-hmm.
No.
oh,
Yeah, basically, if you compliment
they
someone
both gave 3 hope. What the
Yep.
hell?
once per
So-
long rest, if I compliment someone or ask them something about something they're good at, you both get free hope.
So hang on.
Well.
Hang on. So
So,
you can walk up
Dan,
to like...
as my new best friend. As my new best friend.
So you
Tell me how
can
wonderful
walk
I am.
up to like Greg and be like,
Yeah.
you look nice today. And now you've
Yeah.
immediately both got enough hope to both do a combo attack.
I mean, to be fair, that's all Greg needs. So
You're looking particularly swampy this afternoon.
Okay, that's nuts.
And that's
crazy.
definitely the one I'm picking. But we'll
Yeah.
read the rest as well.
Cool. Take care, Reese. Thank you for jumping in and watching. Yeah, really appreciate the input. Have a good one.
Reese.
Body basher. Use the full force of your body in the fight. On a successful melee attack, always add your strength trait to the damage total. Pfft, whatever. Bold presence.
See-
Whenever you make a presence roll, you can add your strength to the trait roll. Pfft, whatever.
6 hope.
And reckless.
They're nothing.
6 hope. Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's another one in there. Reckless.
Yeah.
You always mark as stressed to take advantage. Whatever. 6 hope for complimenting someone's shoes.
I like that shirt
Yeah.
you're wearing.
You just
I mean,
just say
I mean,
one good thing and you turn you and someone else into ICBMs. Just
Yeah.
I mean, I'll
Oh,
feel
that's
pretty hopeful if
what
someone
I've
said I
picked.
was wearing a nice shirt.
See, I did query like, oh, maybe if next level up, if I took a bump to my strength, then I could make you a better use of Body Basher, which is the one where you add your
Damage.
strength trait to your damage. But because I didn't take that this level, I mean, a soldier's
take your
bond.
next level, right?
I'm gonna compliment people and just give 6 hope per long rest.
I can feel that soapbox sliding back out from under the bed. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So soldier's bond it is.
Yep. You look nice.
What is it in the the Command and Conquer games? Is it just like nuclear strike detected? Just immediately after you.
The bit that's
Your eyes look radiant today.
literally the worst bit is I don't have I've got one card that lets me spend hope, and that's on a rare occasion.
Yeah.
So I don't have any other uses to spend hope apart from like a joint group
Yeah.
thing.
So can you
Or
use-
spending my hope on experience, which I'll probably would do. So yes, I'm gonna take this trait.
So if we're like super hope shy in like the middle of a battle, you can just be like,
you look
"Cow,"
nice.
just like
And
across
then
the
yeah,
battlefield. Yeah.
finger guns, and
You just wolf whistle and then someone dies.
Yep.
Okay, so domain class. The domain cards are the last bit, aren't they?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's that. Okay. No what larks. So I mean, how does leveling up feel compared to D&D?
About the same, really. It's just, especially if you do like level up on D&D Beyond, like it just kind of takes it through, doesn't it? It's not
Yeah,
difficult. Apart from this experience thing, which I guess you kind of have to have a think about.
Does this feel more? Does leveling the characters up make them feel more like your characters because you've had to choose what you're upgrading? Whereas with D&D, for
Yeah.
example, it's just like, I'm level 3, so therefore I will get this, I will get this, and I will get this. And that's it.
It's a funny one because I think I like with this game, it makes you feel like even though a lot of the stuff you're choosing is quite mechanical, you get like one card, but a lot of the stuff is quite like mechanical, but it's still like very like character orientated, like, oh, I'm a little bit more able, like a bit more fitter, a bit more healthier, or a bit more stronger. It feels like a very personal. I don't know how better to describe it, but
Yeah.
whereas D&D, it's very much like
I am a cleric.
Yeah, I will get these things,
Yeah.
but at the same time, in fairness to D&D, I almost feel like with D&D, especially spellcasters, right? Like you just get more kit. I feel like you get more kit as you're leveling up in D&D because there's just so much stuff in D&D. Whereas in this game, I feel like you get a lot of cool choices to bump yourself as a person a little bit. But in terms of what you can do, get one card. Like I know over time, you know, you'll have a series of cards, and a vault full of cards to be able to swap out and do things. Great, cool. I just think I think this is better for newer people, or like people who want to just more focus on the character itself. But in D&D, I feel like you got more kit for things like combat or for exploration or for yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that tracks.
Well, I think it depends on the character though, because sometimes in like D&D you'll like level up, and obviously I'm playing like a fighter at the moment, and you're just like, oh, that was that.
I hit things a bit
Yeah.
harder.
Nothing changed, just a bit stronger. You know.
It'll be interesting to get your input on this, Nate, because obviously you, on the one hand, you've been leveling up like D&D characters, sort of, but you've also been leveling up a Blades character. And in Blades, we don't have levels, do we? We just have like XP is a very fluid progression bar thing that just. But you have what, like 4 XP bars across your character sheet for your
yeah. So you have just like your special.
Yeah,
you have like your special abilities, and then obviously your prowess, your insight, and the other one.
So yeah, how does this make you feel, like mechanics wise, story wise, for example, in comparison to say Blades?
I mean, compared to Blades, I guess I don't know, because you're doing it in one big chunk, a bit like how you do in D&D. Like it's like, right, you've gone up to level 2, you're doing it in one big chunk, and you sort of progress that, you're sort of adding those things that way. And so it's like, oh, I get a bit more in my HP, I get I'm going to choose to go up in my hit points, I'm going to my calculated damage, blah 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 blah. But with Blades, like as you said, like that's a little bit more fluid. So like I've just recently with Tavern upgraded my sway, so I knew that I was putting in my XP in that. But then on the side, I was like, well, I'm going to put like 2 in my prowess, but I'm also going to put 1 in my XP tracker for my abilities, so that can slowly build up. and then it's kind of like after that it's then that constant thinking of just like, right, what do I want to level up next, what do I want to, so you're more thinking about what am I going to put my XP in to sort of improve my character and where I want that character to go. Unlike with this, where you now have a big chunk of things that you're going to upgrade and you don't know when that's going to upgrade again. And well, probably in the way that we know it's going to upgrade after the next story. So yeah, it's definitely different. I don't think either one is better than the other, really. I think it works better with Blades the way that it runs. I think something. Go on.
I was gonna say, because like, the Blades XP thing almost works as like the complete opposite to what we were saying about the experience on this.
Yeah.
Like in Blades, you can't just suddenly remember how to be better at lock picking. You have to be doing stuff related to lock. It's a bit more. It's more like Fallout or Elder Scrolls, or like you have to do the thing to level up the thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is narratively.
Yeah, it runs more
like real life.
Yes.
Like real,
Yes.
And I think because obviously with Blades like that, that's almost like a continuous thing. You're continually sort of going on, unlike probably with Daggerheart and with D&D, like you have, if you're running it more on an experience rather than XP, more like, well, you know what I mean, that you will do a story and then your characters will have like a break. Maybe it's a week, maybe it's a couple of weeks, maybe it's like a downtime or whatever. And then you go on to the next story, or like when we were playing Wild Beyond the Witchlight, like Julia would let us level up when we finished like a big thing. So we had a particularly big session with one of the hags, and then we would level up after that. We would go and have a long rest, and then we would level up after that, and that sort of made sense story wise. And so a bit like this as well, like as it's going to be more like in stages as we're going along, unlike with Blades where it almost does feel like a continuous story where we're continually evolving.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, well, that is, I mean, that's leveling up, I guess. It'd be interesting to see, like, looking ahead. I know from like level 5 onwards you get more options, but I think like you get different tables to fill out. But from what I can gauge reading it, it's pretty much the same thing. You just get more tick boxes with which, so you can keep on upgrading your hit points or your evasion. So I don't think there's actually anything really new apart from multi-classing, which I think is interesting that they lock you out from multi-classing until level 5.
I wonder whether or not it's due to just making things a little bit more easier as you're playing, because I find with D&D, even when we recently we recently leveled up from level 3 to level 4, and the amount of things you can choose, like it is like if you've got someone like Dan P who has like all the books and you're sharing all his books and you're just kind of going like, oh, like I was looking for a feat for Bug, my barbarian fairy, and I was thinking what would be good for him, and there's just so much, it just got overwhelming to what I could do. But if that then starts coming in round about level 5, if you're playing from a level 1 character in Daggerheart, then I think that might be
you've grounding.
Yeah.
I remember it being very, very similar in 4th ed. But like back then, they were, not only did you have, there were more source books, I think. Like it feels like there were more source books, but there was also like the monthly, like there were 2 monthly magazines, Dungeon and Dragon, and like there were little kind of new subclasses, new abilities, new items, new feats, new whatever in those as well. So yeah, like they had a character builder of sorts for 4th edition, but by the end, like when 5th edition was rolling around, like that website was suffering. Because it was like, oh, you've leveled up, and it's very much a case of like, you get lots of stuff every time you level up. So when you were getting to like, because it also went from 1 to 30 rather than 1 to 20. So I had like level 17 characters, I think, in the campaign we were running. And like the printouts was like double-digit pages because there was just so much stuff to choose from, and yeah. But yeah, it was just really mind-blowingly obtuse. But no, that's fair. I think it's good that they just widen the boundaries, don't they? They can just give you a bit more area to play with. Cool. From what you've seen, of the changes that they've offered us in 1.4, and going through upgrades and sort of like how your characters now look like they'll play when we get back to it, do you feel like they've been stepping in the right direction? Do you think they've just kind of been hovering around the same on the goodness scale, or do you think they've stumbled a little bit? Start with Livy.
It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I think there's some things that they've obviously, but this is the whole point of this, of going through it and beta testing and play testing it, is that you make changes. Like obviously they're flip flopped with some of the things of like Nathan's character and stuff like that, because they're like, oh, we'll change it. It's not working, and then it's like, oh no, that was better than the chain thing we changed. So I think it's just gonna keep flip flapping around. But I mean, I understand the changes that they have made for the most part, I would say. I would like to see how Dan's new domain card works, because that sounds...
I mean, that sounds like it breaches the Geneva convention.
So yeah, there'll be another thing that Dan gets taken off of when we're in the next...
Yes, that's
in version 1.5. Dan will be like, "Oh no, I can't just
they broke my
tell someone they've
again.
got nice eyes anymore."
Yeah, and it eventually end up being like, you have to give this person, you have to sign them into your will.
Yeah. You could do this once per campaign.
Okay, Fabi. Dan, how are you feeling now we've had a bit of time to digest what Daggerheart is and is becoming?
I definitely feel it's just like, obviously DD is well established. It's got a lot at the moment of content now because it's been going on, and they're going into their new players handbooks, etc, etc. So it's not really fair to do a complete comparison, but I do think with Daggerheart it's an interesting fresh approach and just a different way to play the same genre, with a bit more focus. Well, the game is trying to be more focused on the storytelling, but I would like to play it at its full, well, when it's like fully released in the future. So that will be really interesting. But for me right now, let's put it this way, I'm still excited to play the game. I'm looking forward to see what else they bring out and what changes they make, and I think they are definitely stepping in the right direction. Yes, they're going to be doing this backwards and forwards because, as they try some things that people have suggested, just like they noted in their live stream, people will suddenly go, wait, actually, no, we like the thing that you had before, actually, like now that we've tried this. And there's always going to be, like, it's a beta. We're trying things, and if it works great. If it doesn't, what changes can be made. And I think they're definitely taking the right approach. And one interesting note I think is worth mentioning is, even though they got the whole great nuances with the ancestry, but they've noted that they've been speaking to what do you call specialists to do with cultures, people that they've been speaking to these culture specialists to check the game against, you know, different cultures and their beliefs and viewpoints, and they're making sure that whatever they're creating stays pretty like
I know they
on
had those. They were doing a lot of that for campaign 3. Yeah, that's fair.
And it feels like they got the passion for it. They're putting a lot of energy and time to it, and I think it is an interesting take on a genre that I love, which is fantasy, and I definitely would like to play more.
Sure. Nate, finally, Nate.
I do wonder whether or not we are not going to see the new story until 1.5. I kind of get a feeling that they may be holding off a little bit because now that they've released more sort of static rules for mixed ancestry.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're waiting to see if anyone sees any sort of game breaking situations between that before they release the new story.
Yeah.
Because like as Livy says, like there's been a bit of flip-flopping with my character and with my ancestry. It looks like now that they've got it a little bit more, no, you've got to spend something to do this, you've got to roll something to do this, which makes sense. And I quite like the fact that there's now more structure to the rules towards my character's actions, like especially with like the Wonderborn stuff. Like it was very much just like I could just pull anything out of my bag and it would be great. So I like the fact that there's a little bit more structure. I don't like the fact that like it's only once per session. I think like Reese said, like my hope should be enough of compensation for that. And you know, I'm not gonna, you know, I only have. I wonder whether or not they're keeping it there just in case, because I don't know if you can increase. Can you increase hope over? I guess you can when you're leveling up.
Well, apparently you can compliment someone's shoes and then you get 3 of them. So,
but increase your capacity for hope. Because obviously we're only at 6 at the moment. So it's wondering whether or not we can increase our hope slots so we can have more and more. So I wonder then whether or not they're kind of going like, well, we don't want them to just pull loads of stuff out of whatever to sort of break the game a bit.
A Gatling gun.
Yeah. This will help the situation. But it's definitely looking like they're going in the right direction. I do think we will continue seeing like this flip-flopping while they get everything sorted, because like
it's like a fine line for them, isn't it, where they want like freedom and whimsy and as much openness as possible, but also it's just like, well, it has to work as well, like and it's just kind of, I think they've kind of understood that now, and they've started putting more rules in, putting more like, oh, you can't just do a sneak attack for free whenever you like, you know, like I think they've kind of understood that it's nice to have lots and lots of options and everyone to kind of create their own games, but you have to kind of have some limits going on.
But it's nice to see. It looks like they're getting more of a hold of their mechanics, so like they're getting more of an idea of tokens and stress, because I think very right at the beginning we were very much just like, what do we use these for? So having like a clearer idea of what they should be used for is nice to see. So I think definitely they're going in the right direction. I think we're definitely going to be seeing like a little bit more flip-flopping with sort of like, you know, evasion, armor, damage levels. I think we're going to see a lot more with that, depending on like if that's whether ancestry or class or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to do something by be like some kind of like frog, half something else, and it ends up making your evasion at like 20, and then you're like, you know, it's gonna.
Yeah, and I also do wonder how many people. I mean, I'm guessing there's quite a lot of people who are playing this and you know, sort of test running it, but I do wonder how many people have gone up to so many levels.
High
to-
levels.
to test those
Yeah.
cards.
There are interesting points on that because one of the questions raised in the live stream chat was for people who don't have a lot of time, what areas of the playtest should they focus their efforts on that they need most? And they said like the middle tier type area, because a lot of people will play the first couple of levels, but then might go, okay, what is this like at max level?
Where it's like level
they
6.
yeah,
They don't
people
know.
just
Yeah.
tend to
Yeah.
skip the middle ground, and they need more playtest like data on that middle ground to see if there's any issues there.
Mhm.
You know what we've got to
And
do, Dan? Level 6. Let's go.
Level 6, and we're all going to be mixed ancestry.
Yes.
Fine.
We're gonna
Fine.
have a frog fawn. We're gonna have a mushroom cat girl. We're gonna have a turtle
A turtle robot.
fairy. A turtle fairy. Can you be turtle and a fairy?
Yeah. Just tiny wings.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
I am interested in like on the one hand, obviously I'm very keen. I'm very interested for whatever the next step of their playtest is. I'm also interested to see what this is like doing sort of like homebrew stuff. So yeah, well, very interesting stuff.
How do you feel about it, Dan?
Yeah, how do you feel?
I mean, so
Don't let go soapbox again.
No, I think no, you kind of hit the nail on the head for one of my big points. Is that it's good to see that they're being bolder with their mechanics. Because one of my thoughts near the beginning was that like, oh, some of the stuff that they're implementing seems a bit gimmicky. So it's good to see that they're like with like the action trap packer, action tracker
Action
pad.
tracker.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like they're leaning more into it. I feel like they could potentially go even further. I guess it's just a case of figuring out what. Like, there's definitely a too far point. But yeah, it's good to see them being bolder. I suppose for things like the fungal, kinda having an idea, casting it aside, replacing it with a new one, and then going, oh no, and then reverting back. Like, it's good that they're trying things. Is all I'll say. I'm still very intrigued to see how this feels outside of super high fantasy. But like that's obviously only going to be something that we'll find out when we do.
When we're on our marshmallow airship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say our Game of Thrones Daggerheart campaign. But
one thing I thought you might like, Dan,
Yeah.
is something that I did note during the live stream, is that they're definitely looking at, because they've basically reworking on the adversaries at the moment, and they are definitely looking at options where, because obviously cards are a thing in this game, that they are definitely looking at like more mechanical ways of interacting with some of the core things of this game. Like, for example, enemies that might do something that might stop a character being able to use a certain like card, or shove it back into their vault. Things like that.
Like would be absolutely grand, because then I guess whilst with blades, I have leveled the accusation that it is perhaps a bit overtuned. There's a bit too much going on that is directly related to blades. It can feel a bit opaque with its game design, like something like that. Like if you're literally giving your players physical holdable cards, like saying shuffle them and do something, or like discard one at random, or hell, even if it's just like if there was an ability to pass one of your cards to someone else, like just stuff like that. Like if it's designed to be played in person with your friends, like with the people around you, just yeah. So yeah, if you get screamed at by a banshee and the banshee stops you using one of your cards at random, grand. Yeah, be interesting to see. Cool. I reckon we've had a good old natter.
Real natter.
Good old natter. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Thank you for leveling up your characters. We will catch up with Theo as and when. We will catch up with the whole gang. Greg, Ruby, Goro, and Twig, as and when, whether or not it's, well, I suppose we're kind of holding fire until either the next playtest or when we're all free, when we'll have enough time to run something pseudo homebrew. But yes, if you're interested in seeing that, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications when we're releasing new content, because that happens very, very frequently. We wouldn't want you to miss it, because, you know, this Daggerheart stuff, it's a flash in the pan kind of thing, isn't it? Got to catch it while it's hot. So, if you enjoyed the video, I'm guessing anyone who's still watching this now is watching on VOD, so thank you for watching that. Yeah, leave your comments on how you think the playtest is going, whether you think it's going in the right direction, or whether you think they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. And when I say shooting themselves in the foot, what I mean is letting the Guardian have 3 hopes for free, and then like doing a combined action on their
And a
foot.
friend.
And a friend.
You look nice. Let's attack.
Yes. Yeah, if you're also let us know if you're interested in seeing what Daggerheart feels like outside of official playtest, or if you're just more kind of interested in this promised skyship, which we believe is going to be made of marshmallows.
Yes. And friendship.
And friendship.
And friendship. Animal friendship, marshmallows. And tiny gemstones.
Yes. Cool. So, thank you from me. Thank you to you 3. Thank you to everyone who was in chat. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.